Hey, SE Historian here. Today I have one of the most promising up-and-coming pros the StarCraft scene has produced since Clem and Raynor, SKillous. Nikita and I had a conversation that ranged from fun, casual topics to his displacement by the Ukraine war. If you've been enjoying my work, get subscribed so you don't miss out on next week's video. Now, let's jump in to my word with SKillous. So, Nikita, thanks so much for taking the time today, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm glad to be here.
So, a customary question: how did you first get involved with StarCraft?
When I was very young, I was playing a lot of RTS in general, so Warcraft 3, Red Alert 3, Command Conquer 3, some other RTSs that I don't remember anymore. So when SC2 came out, my father bought me SC2 as well. I was playing a little bit, but for a while I stopped playing it, and I started playing again in around 2013, I think. And from there on, I've been playing 1v1. I still had some breaks and stuff, but yeah, I think I started playing like competitively from 2013.
Okay. You know, it's really interesting. I feel like with a lot of the younger players like yourself, it's a really interesting dynamic where a lot of you were introduced to the game by like a parent or like an older relative, which I feel like is it's quite the reversal, right? And over just a short period of years, I feel like most players that are maybe even just like 30, which is obviously not that much older than you, found all their games on their own, and their parents didn't know or care about any games. So it's weird, just like that tiny generation shift. Where it's a very different dynamic with your parents regarding the games. So, what made you decide to dedicate so much time into StarCraft at a time where you were pretty young and there was a lot of other esports titles that were like bigger?
Actually, in the moment when I played StarCraft, I also had a couple of breaks for Dota, and I tried to play Dota competitively. I mean, not competitively. I tried to be good enough for Dota competitively, and I think I was improving, actually. I think, and at some point I was getting better and better, but I don't know. I just realized that I like StarCraft more, and I started playing StarCraft again, and I think 2019 I was like good enough, and I just saw that, so I was like, okay, I can give it a go.
Huh, that's interesting. So, do you like Dota? Do you still play it for fun?
Yeah, I still do. I still do play it for fun, and like especially like recently, like I stopped playing it completely for a couple of years, but I think like maybe at the end of 2021, I started playing again, and yeah, I still do. I still do.
Have you ever been like really deeply involved with any other games?
No, no, no. For me, it's like only Dota, StarCraft, and that's it.
Fair enough. So, where'd your ID come from, Skillous?
I don't know. Like, it's nothing interesting really. Like when I was like 11, maybe, I wanted to make a YouTube channel to make Minecraft videos, and I need a nickname. So I was just, I don't know. Like I obviously didn't know any English, so I was just like, I don't know, just mixing up the words and like letters and stuff. And I got the nickname. So it was like Mr. Kilos. And I was like, okay. And I had this nickname for like 4 or 5 years, I think. And at some point, I just started changing like random letters in this nickname. And it was like Dr. Kilo, like random stuff, like completely random stuff. And at some point, I just put S instead of Mister. And it actually, like, I actually liked it. So I just stuck with it.
That's funny. So, given that timeline, you were Mr. Kills for as long as you've been Skillous, about the same amount of time, it seems like.
I mean, probably not. Like, I'm Skillous for like 8 years.
Oh, okay, okay.
Actually, it's actually crazy if you think about it. It's like so long, such a long time.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you said your English wasn't really good when you were 11, so it's obviously quite good now. You learned it in school, or how did that happen?
I mean, obviously, yes, I had English at school, but I mean, it all obviously was useful, but most of my English comes from StarCraft, because I've been talking to a lot of foreigners I mean, like ever since I've been playing StarCraft, to be honest. I also was a member of a couple of European teams, like Nude Blanche. Okay, I don't want to pronounce it. It's like French name. I was in a French team, and I also was in SCV, and it was an international team. So I also spoke a lot of English there. I got a lot of international friends, and especially right now, I just live in English. I mean, not English speaking country, but country where a lot of people speak English. So it is my main way of communicating. Obviously, it's the best way of learning it.
Yeah, of course. So how'd you end up choosing Protoss?
Also, nothing excited. I just when I started playing in 2013, I was like, okay, I need a race to play ladder with, and I was like, okay, I just gonna put a random in the lobby against AI, and I'm gonna play whatever race I get, and I just got Protoss, and that's it. But I think it fits me well, to be honest. Right now, I like Protoss.
Yeah, it seems to be working well for you. Okay, so jumping into like a little bit of a heavier topic. Obviously, when the Ukraine war broke out, you know, the lives of like millions of people got turned upside down, including your own. Why did you feel like you couldn't or shouldn't return home after Katowice in 2022?
First of all, I mean, first of all, it's a very hard topic, of course. I feel like it's very hard to give it a straight answer because it's such a complex topic and it involves a lot of things. First, like if you're talking about initially, you just don't know what's happening at all. Like first couple of months, nobody knew what's gonna happen, and nobody knew how to react to that. Obviously, because this is probably the biggest event of my life so far. I mean, yeah, maybe event not the right word, but just something that happened.
Sure.
So I was obviously scared. I didn't know what to think and feel. And I also was very lucky because there were people who could and wanted to help me.
So, did any of your other relatives flee Russia around the same time?
Not the same. No, not the same time.
Later on.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you end up getting linked up with Team Liquid and ending up at their facility?
I think so. When I was in Poland still for IEM, I saw the tweet of Team Liquid that they're welcoming people from Ukraine to their facilities. So yeah, just to give them a place to live. And I mean, to be honest, it's a little bit hard for me to remember exactly what was happening back there because it was so hard emotionally.
That's fine.
But I remember that TLO helped me a lot, and he contacted with people from Team Liquid, and we got in touch, and Team Liquid decided that they want to help me as well. So big thanks to Team Liquid, obviously, and to TLO for that.
Of course. So obviously it was a very good fit between you and Team Liquid and you know the other members. Why do you think everything worked out so well between you guys?
I don't know. It's a bit hard for me because I feel like I always feel like I'm lucky, and I always feel like I'm not good enough for everything. So I'm like, I don't know. I just want to say they saw something good in me, I guess, and there are probably things that I'm good at. So I guess that helped, and I also think that things I believe into are very close to what Team Liquid are built on. So that's also fair.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I think you're a little too down on yourself, man. You're clearly, you know, you've shown up as one of the best Protoss in Europe for some time now. So
yeah,
there's some value there.
Yeah, I know. But for me, it's like I'm good and bad at the same time. That's what I feel like. I'm good. I'm decent, but I'm not good enough for my own stance. That's what I feel like.
Of course. I mean, I think you're also just pretty young, and you need maybe a little bit more experience on some of the big stages, and that'll probably change some stuff for you, I think. Um, but anyhow, so Nazgul mentioned that you were volunteering to help like Ukrainian refugees. What was that volunteer work like?
So I was translating for refugees who flew from Ukraine to Netherlands. We had like a big, I don't know how to call it, camp. I'm not sure if the camp is the right word, but like the big area where we were giving them accommodation for a bit. So, and afterwards they could get a place to live in the Netherlands. So I was helping to translate from Russian to English because obviously most of Ukrainian people speak Russian fluently as well.
So why was it so important to you to help out refugees during a time when you yourself were like a sort of refugee?
Because I felt that I want to do something. And this is pretty much the only thing I could do at the time. And it was definitely like a life-changing experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine how incredibly valuable you must have been for those refugees because, other people might be able to assist them by giving them clothes or food or helping them find a place to live, but they need somebody to act as a conduit between them, right? And if nobody can translate for them, their life becomes like 100 times more difficult. So that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, but mostly it's like, for me, after all the like the war was something that I read from news, right? Like like how it works for most of the people. But when you actually talk to people from there, and you see people from there, and you know that these people have no place to go back to, and yeah, a lot of and obviously way worse things also happen to them. And when you hear the stories, it's like it hits completely differently, right?
Yeah, no, I got the tiniest taste of that just meeting some Ukrainian refugees on the train platforms in Poland and in Czech Republic, and it was heartbreaking. Just because you see somebody and you think, oh, this is just like a young backpacking couple or something, right? They're just like traveling, and then I ended up chit chatting with them, and like, oh no, they're not just like traveling for fun. They're traveling because their whole life got destroyed. Yeah, it's an insane thought. I feel, I don't know, immensely lucky not to know what that feels like. Um, so were you really surprised when Team Liquid made you an offer?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, but yeah, I mean, it was a little bit. It's like they already gave me so much, Like I lived in the office for almost a year, so yeah. I mean, obviously, I was very happy and very surprised, but I was I was very grateful anyway. Like even if it wouldn't happen.
How was your relationship with your teammates been?
Like before or right now?
I guess both.
I mean, to be honest, this is I think Team Liquid roster right now is like the closest roster I ever had. I don't know how to formulate it correctly, but like I've never been so close to my teammates in any teams before. I feel like I always had friends, of course, like some of them, but it was never like all of my team members are like friends to me. So yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, it obviously was different. I wasn't that close to them before I joined Team Liquid, but I also think that we had multiple boot camps at the facility in Utrecht helped a lot as well because we got to see each other, we talk with each other, we like go to places together. So it's completely different experience and way more professional. Also, it builds team way better.
Yeah, it's definitely like a real bonding experience to get that in person FaceTime. Um, So how has life in the Netherlands suited you?
I actually like it a lot. I like it a lot. I really don't really struggle with the language barrier because my English is good enough, and Netherlands is most like the. I think most of the people here speak English, and yeah, I feel very comfortable. And obviously, uh, apart from the language, it's just like one of the greatest country in the world. I feel like.
So it seems to me that your skill level has risen quite a bit since you joined Team Liquid. You seem to be having some really good results and, some great games versus some, really high level players. Would you agree with that?
Yes and no. I think my results in tournaments are great, like offline tournaments, and some of the major online ones. But I still struggle a lot with like weeklies, with qualifiers, and things like that. So it's like I don't know. I probably got better mentally, but I'm not so sure about my like actual skill level being too, too much better.
Do you feel like your mentality is very directly linked to your quality of play?
Yeah, of course. Because I mean, I guess it's fair to say about any kind of sports that it's all about confidence. Like if you're confident in what you're doing, you're going to perform better, even if you're uh, worse in terms of skill.
It's funny, man. I feel like sometimes, like I had a conversation with Cyril, and he just feels like a different type of human. I was talking to him about him losing his bag, like from the airline, and I was like, "Wow, man, that must have really destroyed your mentality going into the event." And he was like, "Oh, not really." And I was like, dude, what do you mean, man? That sounds awful. But yeah, I think for yourself and for 99% of people, mentality is such a big part of play quality.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's I don't think it's always linked to like to the small things like that. For me, it's more about just being confident in like my play, pretty much. So I actually have a lot of I don't know how to. I don't want to call it mental problems, but I think it is that I only happen in StarCraft. Like I don't like interact with it in like in my like real life at all. But it just happens in StarCraft. I guess because it's like a very competitive thing. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the reasons, but I just know it's a fact. So for me, it's like it's just two different parts of life. Like I can be very happy with my life, but I can be very unhappy with StarCraft at the same time.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? I think when you have something in your life that is both A, very important to you, and B, something that you're like really working at to make these like small improvements, and then if you make a small mistake, it feels like, oh my god, like what am I doing? I'm wasting my time, like trying to improve, and I'm throwing it away. So that makes sense, right? Where in real life, nothing is really like that. You're kind of just like, living life casually, and nothing so specific like that. So do you have a result that you're like the most proud of from your career so far?
Hmm. I don't know. Nothing I can name, to be honest. Like I don't know. Um, I just got like good stable results, and that's it. Like I never. Yeah, like I think I will be able to name something like that if I win an international event, or maybe I
Sure.
come like second or third or fourth. I might say that, but while I'm like top 8-ish, top 16-ish, it's not something I'm proud of course.
Understood. That makes sense. Um, so I'm assuming I was going to ask you what your goals are. I'm assuming that's like your main goals, just to win some international event, or do you
Yeah,
have something else that you're working on specifically?
yeah. I think so. I think so. I just, I mean, I don't think I have like actual. I don't know. I don't think I have goal uh, in particular, but for me, it's more about getting better than I am now. That's. I'm not too big into goals, but I'm more into like trajectory I want to take.
How do you gauge your skill level over time?
Uh, you mean like how do I
How do you, yeah,
improve?
how do you measure? Yeah, how do you measure improvement?
I mean, like there is one direct measurement of improvement. You just look at your results, and that's it. Like, I mean, you can say a lot of the things, but you just look at your results because, of course, it might be random sometimes because like sometimes you can just get unlucky and like, I don't know, you can get sick, you can get I don't know, very hard break it and stuff like that, but it's still on a distance it's gonna show. Like if you actually got better, you will see it on the like long distance.
That totally makes sense. How do you feel about the state of balance in StarCraft 2 at the moment?
I think it's good. It's probably good. Sometimes I'm a little bit whiny myself, and I think a lot of things are stupid, but that's fine. That's probably part of the competitive nature of mine. So, I mean, it's very good. It's definitely very good. It's nothing too game breaking. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to judge for Protoss because I'm very biased, like any other pro gamer, to my own race. So yeah, it's hard for me. But the Protoss players are underperforming a little bit. I'm not sure why. I can't really tell objectively.
What's your biggest balance complaint? What's something that really frustrates you?
I mean, my biggest complaint is Protoss design in some things that we rely too much on on the things that can go wrong very easily. Let's put it like this. That's what makes us very unstable. I feel like that's probably my biggest complaint is that Protoss is very unstable.
So obviously you're a really high level player. What do you feel like are the biggest differences between someone like yourself and like Hero, who is, maybe just performing at a slightly higher level?
I mean, to be honest, I just feel like he's slightly better at everything. That's it. Like I don't think it's anything special, Like he's just better. Maybe like some of his stats are better than mine, like very like a lot. But I might be even better at some other things. But I just think he's a slightly better player. Like his decisions are better, his micro is better, his macro is better. I don't know, his mentality is probably also better. So all of these little things.
So that feels like from the sounds of it, that sounds like an achievable level for you. You feel like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can achieve. Yeah, I can play like any other Protoss player for sure.
That's great. I think sometimes, especially like a younger player like yourself who's been watching for a long time, I think sometimes people get the mentality of like separating themselves a little bit from the players that they view as their idols and feeling like that's not an attainable level.
I should never have this feeling for Protoss. Like I feel like I can always play like I could always play like these guys. I feel like it's mostly fair to say about their players though, because they are kind of separating themselves all the time from Cyril. They say, okay, Cyril is like the god, and we can never play like him, But I don't know. I feel like it's not a very smart thing to do, to be honest. Like, even if it's true,
Yeah,
it's not a good mentality.
Definitely bad for mentality. So how did it feel for you to move from just like a fan of some of these players to now like friends with or beating them in events and stuff?
I don't know. Nothing changed at all, to be honest. I've never been excited about. I don't know, like how to put it. Like, I do not feel anything if I meet a famous person. Let's say it like that. So for me, it's like you're just a human as I am. So I don't really. Nothing changed.
Yeah, that's funny. I think for me in the beginning, when I first started meeting some of these personalities, it was like, oh, that's really cool. But yeah, after you meet the 100th one, it's like, yeah, you are just another human. And that's great, though, in general, to have that thought process, I think. So how do you feel about like the overall state of the StarCraft 2 scene, the community?
Okay, I mean, I will be very pessimistic, I think, but it saddens me a lot, to be honest, because the viewership goes down, the amount of tournaments go down, the Blizzard is... I don't even want to comment on that, on Blizzard side. So yeah, I'm not very happy, to be honest.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a tough spot. Kind of in limbo. It's hard to say where we're headed. Maybe this Microsoft acquisition of Blizzard will change some stuff, but I think we're probably like at least a year or two away from that, right? Like when these big $100 billion companies, I don't think they are going to make like quick split second decisions. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. Maybe in 6 months there's going to be some amazing announcement. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Are you excited for Stormgate?
I am. I'm very excited because it feels the opposite of Blizzard, obviously, because this is what Blizzard used to be, and this is pretty much Blizzard that we had before in StarCraft. So I'm very excited, and I also want I started playing StarCraft competitively when it was already. Of course, it was not dead, but it was on a decline, and it was like. Yeah, I mean, I never played in the times when it was the most important, the most famous esports, right? So I never had this feeling, and I feel like, I mean, realistically speaking, of course, StormGate won't overshadow League of Legends, but it's probably gonna. We are at least gonna try, and this is the most important thing for me, that we're gonna try to achieve something bigger, because StarCraft wasn't it was always in this kind of mentality that it's it's gonna come at its end at some point, especially with the state of the Blizzard we have right now.
For sure. So obviously you can't really talk about much, but have you been playing the Stormgate pre-alpha?
No. I haven't been playing, and I'm not invited to the to the thing.
Huh.
But that's fine, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it makes sense. I mean, you're a professional StarCraft player. I don't think you could probably dedicate that much time to another RTS at the same time.
Yeah. It's like, I just feel like right now, it's like, I mean, first of all, yes, I simply want to have more free time, because I still have a lot of projects I work on. I work on my Twitch, I work on my YouTube. I mean, I obviously have to compete. I have to practice for that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I want to commit into something like that. And second of all, it's still so early into the development. I think it's important to play StormGate to be in the beta when it's actually a real game, But for now, objectively speaking, it's not a real game. It's like you have one race that's probably gonna be very different. I think actually, I'm not sure. Maybe there is two, but it's still not the 2+ races they promised. So it's not the full game anyway, even if there are 2 races, right? So it won't give me any benefit if I play right now. So I would rather start exploring the game when it's at least when it's gonna be closer to what I actually gonna play. So that's not important for me. I would be frustrated if the game actually would be playable, and it would be very close to what we're gonna have.
Yeah, of course. I think we're quite far off from anywhere near an end product. So obviously, by the sounds of it, if there's a professional scene around Stormgate, you're going to participate in it?
Yes, definitely.
That makes sense.
And the biggest reason, obviously, is that, realistically speaking, if you have half a year of StarCraft left, I won't be able to achieve my goals, right? I won't be able to be a real player. I mean, okay, it's bad to say that I won't be able to be the top level contender, right? Because the time is just limited, and it obviously takes time. So I really want to be the best player in StormGate. So that's the mentality I'm going into with it.
That's fantastic. I hope we get to see that. Well, yeah, I think that about does it for me. Any closing words?
I'm so bad at that, but I mean, I obviously just want to say thanks to everyone who is involved with my AC2 career, to all the fans, to all the people who support my Twitch, who watch my YouTube videos, I mean, of course, big thanks to Team Liquid. I can't express it with words how grateful I am, and I mean, all my friends. I got a lot of great people around me, so I'm happy. I'm very grateful. Thank you, everyone.
That's phenomenal. I'm glad you have such a positive mentality, and I'm glad things are going so well for you. I think we as a community expect some big things out of you. So yeah, just good luck, and hopefully your prediction ends up being true, and you're the best Stormgate. You're the Cyril of Stormgate. We shall see. But yeah, that about does it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you saw, leave a like and comment below. Get subscribed to be alerted to my future releases.